The rollout of your campaign, because you've already taken a hit for your behavior in a couple of interviews. Now I'm going to get to this is twofold for me. Some are saying that it's a woman issue. Some are saying it's just a sort of behavior issue for a presidential candidate. I want to show the audience what we're talking about and get you to respond. Stand by.
You once said Iran was not a threat. Now you say it is. You once proposed ending foreign aid to Israel. You now support it, at least for the time being. And you once offered to drastically cut. Once drastically wanted to cut defense spending, and now you want to increase it 16%. So I just wonder if you've mellowed out.
Why don't we let me explain instead of talking over me, okay? Before we go through a litany of things you say I've changed on, why don't you ask me a question? Have I changed my opinion?
Have you changed your opinion?
Better way to approach an interview.
Okay.
No.
Is Iran still not a threat?
No. Listen, you've editorialized. Let me answer a question. You ask a question and you say, have your views changed, instead of editorializing and saying my views have changed.
Senator, I'm sure you know that most of the research on this indicates that these actually cost more money over the long term than they save.
Well,
Are
that's
you saying
incorrect.
Your plan will be different?
Let's go back again. Your premise and your question is mistaken, okay?
There's two. It works
let me finish.
Hey,
let me finish. Hey, Kelly. Hey,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Calm down a bit here, Kelly.
When you see those clips, Senator, what do you think now?
You know, I think that interviews are difficult. Like right now, while we're doing this interview, I can't see you. You know, I'm in a remote, by a remote camera in South Carolina. And when an interview is contentious, and when an interview is full of a lot of opinion and editorializing, and it's a long-winded question that's setting you up to say, well, you know, you've been beating your wife all of these years, and when are you going to stop beating your wife? It's very difficult in those contentious interviews. And you can also see, I don't think it makes for good TV on both sides. And I do lose my cool, and I do lose my temper sometime, and I should be better at that. But the thing is, you don't get any visual clues, and it's much harder to have. I think usually when you're sitting down with someone, it's easier to have a reasonable conversation. But you've watched TV. You see TV where it's just yelling back and forth, and I don't think people like that necessarily. But, you know, I wasn't the one starting the contention.
Those women were not yelling at you. They were not yelling at you.
Well, I wasn't yelling at them either. Basically, it was a talking over each other kind of thing. And
but do you regret
I don't think it makes for good TV.
Do you regret it? Do you regret shushing the one reporter and jumping in? I mean, Savannah Guthrie's not exactly known for her, you know, aggressive unfairness.
Right. I think the question was unfair. Do I think that I responded appropriately? You know, I would rather not have contentious interviews. I'd rather do 30 minutes with Charlie Rose, laid back in a evening, you know, in a lazy boy chair.
I know, but we only get a few minutes with you, so we got to get in, we got to get out. Like right now, I've got 8 minutes with you, and there's not a lot of time for niceties. You know, we got to. You understand the position that the reporters are in, and the question. I'm going to get to the woman thing in a minute, but the question some people are asking about you is whether you're ready for prime time, because it's only going to get worse. You know, it's only going to get worse. It's going to get more contentious. When you get up on that stage for those presidential debates, you're going to get pounded. It's going to be ugly. That's the way the process works now. And folks, and you told Hannity last night you can't get overly emotional. Did you get overly emotional?
But I think also that people want someone who will stand up and not just roll over and take it. You remember Reagan when he said, I paid for the microphone, I'm going to speak my piece? So I think people do want, on occasion, they feel like, for example, like in the debates the last time, some of us wanted Romney to be tougher against Obama after Benghazi. I'm not going to lay down and let Clinton talk over me.
But the audience has got to be with you if you're going to do it. They've got to be with you.
Yeah.
And there's a real question about whether you're pulling this trigger too early in these interviews and whether you're alienating people by being too defensive. Media, we ask questions that are sometimes stupid, sometimes unfair. Your job as the politician is to give the answer you want to give and try to use your time on, you know, the national airwaves to make your points, right? I mean, people are accusing you now of being too thin-skinned.
Well, I think we could all get better. I mean, I'm not perfect, and, you know, we try to do this starting from 7 in the morning till 10 at night some nights. But the thing is that contentious interviews are not one-sided in the sense that, oh, it's all my fault that it's a contentious interview. If people start out and basically start out with mischaracterizing your position and then saying, well, defend why you've changed your position, when in reality the question should be, did I change my position? Because on all three questions my answer is no, I didn't change my position. So it's a question, but if you start out and you make it a conclusion, then you're writing op-eds, and then you should be in a different business.